Builders and renters have protested outside Parliament over delays in fixing fire safety issues in the wake of the Grenfell Tower tragedy. Around 3.5 million people cannot sell on their apartments because of defects, and this is contributing to Britain's growing housing crisis.
Millions of British apartments have been sold on a leasehold basis, meaning the facade and common areas are owned by landlords, often developers, who can pass on the repair cost to the leaseholders, like Dubliner Paula Shalou.
Our building has a remediation bill of almost £14 million sterling. And if my husband and I had to pay that, our share would be at least £40,000. And the same for all our neighbours. And, nobody has that kind of money, really. And not to mention that it's not we had no hand in creating this situation.
Today's rally attracted MPs from across the political spectrum who are trying to force changes to the law to lift a £15 billion burden off the backs of ordinary people.
And what the government should be doing is adopting the same approach that the Australian government has in areas like Victoria, for example, where the government provides the upfront funding to carry out all the necessary safety works and then seeks legal recourse from the developers themselves. But that's not happening here in the UK.
The Grenfell fire was almost 4.5 years ago. Protest groups estimate some 850,000 Britons are still living in buildings with unsafe cladding. In July, there was a fire in the cladding system of this residential tower in Milan, which some Grenfell families visited last week.
In Milan, same thing happened like Grenfell, so we don't want any Grenfell in the future. They need to act something with the cladding. They have to stop these materials.
A backlog in dealing with fire safety certificates means an estimated 3.5 million people are unable to sell their apartments, clogging up Britain's housing chain. A big problem for new Housing Minister Michael Gove. With housing set to be a key battleground in the next election, the question for the Conservative government is, how long can they let this situation continue? Sean Whelan, RTE News, Westminster.
Still to come,